Hi, friends. Oh, I am so excited, or wicked excited, as I usually say. I have some amazing guests here with me today on the live. I already see a ton of people joining, so that makes me really happy. I don't know if my folks in the green room will be that happy to see all the folks that are joining. But yes, really, really excited to be here. We're not going to take too much of your time. We just thought it would be really important. Um, to bring in some really great friends, and some really amazing scholarship winners. So I'm going to first start by bringing on my very special guests, the folks that are making it possible for us to be here. So with that, I'm going to bring on my friend Jeremy Damar and Karen Marquez. Hold on, let me fix that camera view, because those close-up pictures, those are horrid. Horrid. Way too close. Hi, my friends. How are you?
Good. How's it going?
Wonderful.
Awesome. Awesome. So my logos are up there. When we start bringing folks on, they should be switching. I'm not sure why I don't know where you're going to land, but all I know is that I am super appreciative of what Rapid SOS and NGA 911 are doing for the On Scene First ENP study group. So, Karen, first, I just want to point out that Rapid SOS chose to be the premier sponsor of the actual study group, the whole study group. And with that came a few offerings of scholarships. Do you have anything you want to add as to kind of why you guys did that? I know there are some very happy folks in the back room waiting to share what it means to them, but can you share a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So, number one, at Rapid SOS, we are here to serve public safety. And serving public safety is not just with an application and a tool that we want you to use at your workstation, but it's really being here to support you and empowering you to have growth within your own agency. And so, these opportunities allow us to uplift somebody who may not have had the opportunity to take an EMP
Is
test
that
and to
mine or
get this,
hers?
to get this
Oh,
certification. Can you
no.
not hear me?
Hold
I can
on.
hear you. I can hear you,
So I
Karen.
hear somebody, it's
Okay.
breaking up on my end. Jeremy, is she breaking up for both of us?
I hear you breaking up, but Karen sounds all right.
Hold
All
on.
right.
Try that.
I'll pause.
This is what live is all about.
Can you hear me now?
It is. Yeah, I can hear you. Go for it.
Okay. No, I just, adding that we know that there's a lot of folks that may not have ever had an opportunity to receive their ENP because, it can be kind of expensive. And if the agency doesn't have the funding or isn't supporting it, and right now we know there's critical staffing issues and budgets are being reallocated to different things. So, how can we empower telecommunicators to grow in where they are or where they want to be in the future? And I think the ENP certification is so important to show dedication, commitment, knowledge, awareness, and understanding of 911 holistically. And so I'm super excited, and so is Rapid SOS, to help empower these folks to grow in their where they ever want to be in the future and where they are today.
That's awesome. I know there was a post. I don't know if you saw it under one of my ENP posts or something, and they said, "Looks like Rapid SOS is doing a lot of good things." So I don't know if you saw that post, but I definitely wanted to give that shout out. And Jeremy, you guys stepped up. I didn't even have to ask you. You also stepped up to sponsor the ENP study group, the scholarships, which has made it possible for 4 of the folks today to be able to take the ENP exam. But you're also my premier sponsor on the podcast in the media sponsor side too. But can you just talk a little bit about why you guys chose to sponsor the ENP scholarships?
Yeah, so NGA 911 is our primary business is next generation core services, ESINet emergency service IP network development, design, and deployment. So a big part of what we're doing as an organization right now, because of where we are internationally and nationally with the next generation 911 initiative, a big part of this is education. So Tracy and you and I have known each other for a long time. Karen, you and I as well. But I've always been a huge advocate for education, and joining NGA last year and really talking with them and kind of aligning what my role was going to be with what they were trying to do. It really was a perfect pairing when you think about the fact that these folks are out there and they're trying to better themselves, not only for what they're doing within their individual PSAPs and ECCs, but for the industry in general. And a lot of what we have to do when we're going around the country and we're traveling to these different places. In fact, we were sharing in the green room earlier, Karen was the West Coast representative, at CalNina, and I'm still in Georgia at the GECC just ended up. So, but a lot of what we're doing at these sessions is educating and informing. And really what ENP does for us and for those people that are getting themselves involved in that exam and that study is it's bringing them up to speed on this technology, which seems like every single day it's just changing more and more exponentially and dramatically. So I'm thrilled to see so many people. I mean, your study group, I think, has, wasn't it like four? I don't. What was the final number? I don't even know what the final number is.
It's not final because people are still actually signing up. I had 3 people register today. So just anybody that's watching this, while the study group started on January 7th for the spring test, I'm not starting another one until July 1st for the fall test, but all of the recorded materials can go to people even if they're signing up today. But today, when I sent out the messages, there were 476 people registered.
So almost 500 people. And that's amazing. That's what's exciting for me, because when I took ENP back, I think it might've been, when was it? 2012? Maybe it was 2012. Has it been that long?
Yep.
When I took it, we didn't have, I don't think Zoom was out. I don't think this virtual component wasn't out. So super excited, not only in my role with NGA to be going out and really kind of advocating and talking about what Next Generation 911 is all about and why it's so important, but even better when you're talking to somebody like an ENP that's sitting across from you. And even though we all have to do our part, and I know Karen does this as well, and Tracy, I'm sure you do it as well. We know that we're in that acronym-rich environment, right, where we constantly have to spell out those acronyms because we know not everybody is at that same level. But when you're sitting across the table from an ENP, for the most part, you know that they're gonna have that baseline foundational knowledge and then some that you really need to be able to talk on that same level. So that's what's exciting for us. That's what's exciting for NGA, and that's why we're proud to be, working with you and with Rapid to sponsor these scholarships. It's a great opportunity.
Awesome.
And how do we inspire people to say, hey, I too can be an ENP, and it's not something that seems so far out of reach, or it's not something that seems intimidating either, right?
Right. And one of the things that I was told by the folks at NINA is they're going to actually be putting out some statistics. They think it's a great idea to put out some statistics in the near future. But there's a lot of folks that are frontline telecommunicators that are taking the exam. And I am super happy to see that, because just because you have a leadership title attached to your name doesn't mean you're the only one that can advance yourself. And I think that's amazing. So what I would like to do is I'm going to bring on each of the not all of them, because it's public safety and we know that everybody couldn't be here today, but as we started the presentation, I had everybody's names up there as to who the winners are. I do have Monica, who is going to be coming on. Let's bring Monica on. Hello, Monica.
How are you guys?
We are good. So thank you so much for joining us. I know you are actually on the desk. You have somebody covering for you. So we want to get you on, get your thoughts, and get you back out to helping folks because you have an unexpected incident going on, life in the fast lane, right?
Yeah.
So I have 2 questions that I want to ask you is, what was the first thought you had when I reached out? So basically, for those that, aren't aware, I run a study group for the ENP. And in that study group, I created an opportunity for folks to register for the scholarship. I didn't want to just pull names because I know that not everybody can finish the study group, and things change. But those of you that put in for it, I'm just curious, what was your first thought when I emailed you to let you know? I know yours was a really cool email that we got back, but what was your first thought when you got the email from me saying that you were one of the winners?
Oh man, I was at work when I received it, and I honestly almost started crying because back in November, summer of last year, I really wanted to do the CMCP course, and my work wouldn't fund it. So I found a coworker of mine who would go with me. So like I self-funded my whole entire CMCP. I had to travel to Georgia. I live in Tennessee. So it was finding lodge plus the course plus food. So I was like, I need to find somebody else who's driven, that wants to pursue their education. So make the trip cheaper for me. And so
Wow.
after we did that, like me and that same coworker, we had been talking about getting our EMP. Year one, I was like, I want to get my EMP because there's only one person here that has it, and he's our training coordinator now. But I was like, I want my EMP because he always talked about it, how it's really hard and really gratifying. And I was like, man, if there's only one person that has it, I want to be the second person to get it. And so when I got the email, it was just awesome because I was going to get it regardless, but I was like, I really would love for these funds to be covered for me just after my CMCP in this past November. So it was amazing. I called my coworker and I was just like, I got the scholarship. Oh my gosh. And so it was awesome.
Honestly, Tracy,
Yeah.
that right there is why
Yep.
we support these scholarships right there.
Yep. Yep. And so I put up a comment up there from one of our users, taking control of your own education. That's one of the things that I train on all the time is you may not get the support or the opportunity through your agency. And that's why I wanted to do the scholarship, because I know that there are so many agencies out there that just are not able to do that. And kudos to you for finding a way to make that class happen. That is really, really impressive. Really impressive. The second question I have for you is, what do you think of when you see somebody with ENP behind their name? Because a lot of times folks feel like sometimes folks feel a little uncomfortable about, showing that they've done something like that. But what's the first thing you think of when you see somebody with ENP behind their name?
That they care about their job, and not just care, but they want to take the initiative to take the next step farther and learn more about their career. Because especially in public safety, everything changes. Like it seems like monthly sometimes, and definitely yearly. And I'm just very education driven and always wanting to learn more and not stay stagnant and complacent. And so when I see people with ENP, I'm just like, they're really motivated in their careers. And like we call it the masters, getting a master's in 911 with the ENP. And so they're people I know, like if I ever had questions or looked out or had anything, I can reach out to them and be like, I have questions about this, and that they would be willing and wanting to dive further into that. My old director, Steve Martini, and he's over at Metro now, but he's someone that I can still have a contact with to talk about. And me and the coworker in here, Chris Burst, we're doing the EMP together this spring, and Martini's been very supportive. And not that my director now is very supportive of us, but I really like it. To me, that's just what that means, is someone that cares about their job and wants to learn more about their career and stay up to date and help others learn as well.
I love that. Jeremy, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I was only going to add, Monica, that network that you build when you're working with these groups, and it doesn't matter what type of education you're doing on the 911 side, but that professional network that you build is absolutely critical as you move up within the profession and you take these different leadership type roles. You want to be able to reach out and talk to these other people, bounce ideas back and forth. And I think Karen mentioned it earlier. That's one of the other reasons why, I personally love these programs and love being able to do this. I love the fact that NGA has gotten behind this, and we're just thrilled for you and for all of the other folks that receive the scholarships, and we wish you the best in the exam.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity.
All right, awesome. So I know that you just stopped talking, but hold on one second. I'm just having an audio issue on my end. Jeremy, can you say something now so I can see if I can hear you?
Say something now.
Okay.
I think it's all on your end, my dear, because I think the rest of us can all hear each other fine.
It is. My earpods are not working properly, but is it good now?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Monica was adding some final thoughts there too.
Okay, Monica, go for it.
Oh, I was just saying, like, thank you so much for the opportunity. And it really means a lot to me. And I'm very excited. I'm so happy for the other people that got it as well. And yeah, I'm very grateful.
All right. Well, we thank you so much. I'm going to let you get back to work because I know that you guys got the squid is hitting the sand at the moment. So we're going to let you go back. Make sure you tell your folks thank you for covering for you so you could join us. And I will be in touch with next steps. So thanks,
Bye,
Monica.
Monica.
Be well.
Thank you.
Good luck.
That was so cool that she funded her own way. Like that makes me super
Amazing.
happy.
There's a lot of stories like that too, where
Yeah.
people are having to do that on their own, and it's a lot of times, I think people like to gravitate towards, well, my boss doesn't support it. That's not it. It's resources. It's not just having the funding in the budget to be able to support it. So that's why I know Karen's on the same board with me with this. That's why this is so important to us.
All right. Now we're bringing on my friend Laramie. I probably should have said it first. I'm just
I
like,
know,
boom,
right?
there he
Surprise.
is. He knew he was next. He knew
I
he
know,
was
I know how
next.
your brain works. I was ready. I was on edge.
I know how your brain works. That's priceless.
Right.
He's like, she's not gonna give me warning. She's
I know.
just gonna pop
Gotta
me
be
right
ready
up
to go.
there. How are you, Jeremy?
Jeremy?
Laramie.
Oh,
I'm all
Jesus.
messed up.
All right, take two. I'm well. How are you guys?
We're good.
Good.
Pre-recorded is boring. That's why
Right.
live is so much better. Yeah.
That's right. It's real.
Brings the entertainment.
There's no cutting room floor in live. It's all right here.
Absolutely.
Nope. So Laramie, super excited. We were talking in the green room about how, we were talking about conferences and stuff, and I know that you are super passionate and driven and a leader in your state for sure. When I saw that you put in for the scholarship, well, when I saw you join the study group, I was wicked excited, right? Because we've talked about advancing career and all that. Then when I saw that you put in for the scholarship, I was even more excited. And, just so folks know, we ended up, the way that we picked the folks is nobody actually really saw who the people were. We just saw the narratives, right? So the question that was asked was, why do you want to have your ENP? What do you feel that it's going to do for you in the future? And the ones that we chose, it was hard to choose, right, guys?
Really was. Yeah. There were a lot of powerful stories.
Yeah. So super happy to have you here. Any commentary you want to add before I ask you your questions?
No, I'm just excited to be here. Glad that my work schedule was able to get covered so I can hop on here. And thanks to our sponsors for allowing this. And I'm looking forward to more opportunities that other people can take advantage of this great opportunity to advance their career.
I love it. I love it. So I did, come up with a couple of questions for each person, but most of them are around the same topic. But I'll ask you yours second. Why did you decide to take the ENP exam? Like what was your kind of drive to be able to do that?
So I've got a few. This is coming up on my 12th year at 911, and as Monica said, this is kind of like your masters of 911.
I love that.
I completed my APCO RPL and the NINA supervisor course and a lot of the online NINA courses whenever COVID happened, when they went to the instructor-led format. I was able to take advantage of those and got my excellence in dispatch certificate. So this is just the next step for me. I'm super passionate about training and education and going above and beyond what is required in Kentucky, because we're only required as telecommunicators to have 8 hours of in-service, and that's not enough. So I'm always looking for APCO and NINA courses and anything that I can do. And then my long-term goal is for 911 director. And there's so many job postings now that include RPL and or ENP. Yeah. I mean, it's the stamp of you're committed to the industry. And so for me, that was a big driving factor. And then, of course, NINA's coming to Louisville in 22. So that was an honor that we'd be able to say, hey, we've got all these ENPs for Kentucky, because there's not a huge number of ENPs in Kentucky. And about 3 or 4 years ago, we done a promo trying to promote the ENP process, and several of us were in the video that were 22 by 22. So, excited to be able to hopefully achieve that goal and represent our state well whenever the national conference comes here.
That's really cool. And I don't know if you know this, but when you get there, your name is going to be on this ginormous wall of all the ENPs, and you're going to have to find your name.
Oh, that sounds like a challenge, right?
Yeah, it's like this big.
Okay, I can't see anyway, so I'm gonna need some assistance. Where's the magnifying glass?
Yep. Yep. So that's awesome. That's awesome.
There's several reasons,
then,
but mainly just trying to advance. Because I plan this. I'm making this my career. This is my 12th year. I don't really plan on going anywhere. I'm passionate about what I do, trying to help my people. So this is just the next step for me to show my commitment.
so this wouldn't be the place for Karen, Jeremy, and I to talk you out of being a director, because
I know, right? Where's the directors anonymous, directors rehab? I know, right? Live and
No,
learn.
you know what? I would say we absolutely need thought
Yes.
leaders to step up into the director positions. People are retiring, and so
Yeah.
this is great that we get to support you in that endeavor.
Absolutely. People think I'm crazy a lot of times when they're like, "Oh, where do you see yourself?" I'm like, "I want to be a 911 director." They're like, "Why?" Like, it's been my goal for several years since I made the decision that I'm staying in 911. I want to, make decisions, be the people-driven leader, take care of my people, because it's an industry that struggles so much at times as it is.
Yes.
Hashtag people first.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so it's funny because you just said something, and in the interest of time, we're gonna have some final thoughts from Karen or Jeremy to you. But you did make an important statement there, is that you want to be able to put your people first, and I do think that those that are going to have you as as a director someday are going to be very lucky, because I know that you are people driven first, and that's something that we are really working hard to try to get folks to work towards. So Karen, do you have anything you want to add to Laramie?
Yes, I just would say, remember in all you do to keep those people in your mind as you make decisions driving forward, and empower them to, receive their education as well, their EMP, their certifications, and allow them to grow, because somebody is going to take your job one day. And so grow them in the right way so that they continue that legacy, that positive legacy of people first.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeremy, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, the only thing I would really add to the conversation on this one, and the point that Laramie made was, looking at, and there's those of you out there that haven't taken the plunge either into a study group or haven't maybe fully committed to going into these different educational opportunities. But to Laramie's point, we are starting to see throughout the industry a lot more deputy director announcements coming out with RPL, ENP, CPE, where, as recently as 4 or 5 years ago, you just weren't seeing that. So the credential is more than just something at the end of your name now. It absolutely sends a clear message to the folks that you are applying with, that you are absolutely 100% committed to the industry. You want to do whatever you can do to learn more about it, and what you've taken away in education, hopefully you'll be able to convey that to your people. So I congratulate you, Laramie, on this as well, and we look forward to hearing about you passing and celebrating with you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it so much.
Me specifically celebrating, because that's how I roll, right?
Right.
So
Absolutely.
all right. Thank you so much, Laramie, for being with us. Next up is our girl, Tacey, from Ohio, not Utah. So I have to apologize. When I first put out the announcement, I was copy and pasting, and somehow she ended up in Utah, but she is not in Utah. She is in Ohio. How are you, Tacey?
Good. How are you guys?
Good.
Good afternoon.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for being here. I know that everybody's crazy busy right now. So first, I'll start off by asking you, what was your thought process when I reached out and told you that you were one of the winners?
First, I was excited, a little bit nervous, and then nauseated. So, nothing like adding a little stress to yourself. But as we talked in the green room before, I've been trying to take this test for about 3 years and just been a little bit too busy to kind of really settle in and get into it. So now I'm kind of volunteered and voluntold and prepaid and ready to go. So now it's cracking the books hard and doing your study group every week. So looking forward to it.
And now you have no choice. Like we were saying, how many times do we want to do something? We start it, and then it's like, oh, okay, I can do that next time it comes around. And this time, you really don't have a choice now.
And now you're committed.
Yes, 100% committed.
I love it. If you could give a piece of advice to somebody who is on the fence about taking the exam, what would that advice be?
I think the biggest thing is take the plunge. What do you have to lose? You know, the biggest thing I know for us is I look at conferences and ENP is the ability to pick other people's brains. You know, we beg, borrow, and steal from each other in this industry. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel. And this gives you the ability to reach out to, you know, a plethora of people across the United States that know more than you. I've been in this 25 years now. I was a dispatcher for 20 years. This is my 5th year as 911 coordinator. And as Monica and Laramie were both saying before, there's really some places don't have room for improvement of where you're going to level up. The highest you may get is a dispatcher, and it's not just a dispatcher. We all know that.
Yeah.
So to me, this was the next step, and it means a lot to be able to say, hey, I have my ENP, I'm learning more, and especially coming from the dispatch side for 20 years. I don't know a lot about the technology side. So for the last 5 years, it's been trial by fire, learning. I mean, I know things about servers and connections and things I never thought I would know. And it's the same way with Next Gen 911. It's, you know, ESRP and what are all these, you know, it's pretty mind boggling when you sit there and look at it. And it's like, you know what, this is one way to better yourself. What do you have to lose? You know, you aren't going to know how you do until you put yourself in there and just go for it.
I love that. I love that. Jeremy, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think you said take the plunge. Wasn't that the term that you used?
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, you know, many of us early on, and you've got a lot of time in the profession. And before I went over to the private sector, I was in there for quite a few years myself. But that was the thing. At some point, somebody had to decide, I want to take it beyond. I want to go to the next level and really figure out. And I was glad at the time that I went to get certified that they had these other opportunities out there, but not too many people were taking advantage of them. What we have seen go on with time is more and more people, even in the agency I worked for originally up in upstate New York, shortly after I got it, a lot of other people got involved in it. So as you get certified, Tacey, and as other folks get certified, it encourages others in the profession that are maybe kind of on the fence about, you know what, maybe it's time to get in. And that's why I love the study group that Tracy does, because even if you're not 100% ready to go, I mean, go in there and start dabbling with it, take the information down. But at some point you do have to pull the trigger, like you said. And now you're definitely committed now. You've got the scholarship, you're ready to go. We're all watching you, no pressure. We're all super excited for you, and we congratulate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys stepping up and sponsoring these scholarships, and Tracy doing the class. It's definitely been one of the best ones I've done. And like I said, I've done it a couple times. So
Thank you.
Learning a lot, and it's great just to have the opportunity. And, you know, as kind of Laramie was saying, you know, there's not a lot of opportunity sometimes for training for dispatchers. That's like our agency. We try to support our frontline telecommunicators to be able to take classes, and not so much, you know, for us. And so the focus is kind of there, and I don't think you can ever get too much training or too much advancement.
Hey, Tracy, we have a special guest real quick. Can you give me just a second?
Yes, I like special guests. I get so excited.
Sorry to interject. I just saw so many people that I love here, so I just had to say a quick
Okay, so Monica, you said you're gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. Like, Michael, I have an email to send you. I'm going to forward it to you. So for those of you that don't know who the sideward face is that's popping in here, this is Michael Martin. He is the CEO of Rapid SOS. He is the guy. Oh, I don't even want to get emotional. He's the guy that snatched me out of the comm center when I was like super broken. And he gave me an amazing opportunity. And I know 100% that I would not be where I am doing what I'm doing if it wasn't for you, Michael. So I wasn't expecting that, damn it.
As I think most folks know, this tech nerd thought he could solve 911 all on his own with his arrogance and his app. Neither of that proved to be effective at all. And Tracy kicked some sense into me, nearly literally. So stories for another time, but I saw you guys. I was literally on LinkedIn, and I saw you guys were here. So anyway, I love it. Great seeing you all. Thank you, Tracy, for everything you're doing.
Bye,
Thank you, my
Michael.
friend. Wow. I wasn't expecting that. Like, I wasn't, and I wasn't expecting to get emotional either. But one. I have an email to forward to Michael that I got the other day about somebody listened to our podcast. So if somebody wants to hear the story about how I, beat Michael up, you can just go back and listen to the On Scene First podcast, episode 2. We have a good conversation there. So
It is a fun. It
sorry
is a fun
you got
story.
ambushed there, but it was appropriate and it was necessary because without all of the work, that Michael Martin started to do way back in like 2012, Rapid SOS has been at this thing. You wouldn't, be able to have this scholarship because of what they did. So
we love using Rapid SOS at our dispatch center. So yes, he can pop in whenever he wants.
That was awesome. Sidewards view and everything. All right, Tacey, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you being here. I'm gonna send you back to the green room, and I'm gonna bring on our next winner. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Bye, Tacey.
All right. Whew. That was unexpected. Yep. Now that I got my stuff together. Hello, Miss Lauren Carter. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here. I was really excited when I realized who your director was and who I had to reach out to, Mr. Brody in Maine.
Yes,
one of my
Brody's
favorite
awesome.
people.
He's the best director ever.
He really is. And why? I'm going to just pop this up again because he is a people first. People
Definitely
always.
is.
He is.
He always pops in and checks and see how we're doing and brings us ice cream sandwiches and just we see him quite frequently.
Okay, so did everybody hear that? Ice cream sandwiches are the way to a telecommunicator's heart.
Food.
All right. So Lauren, I have a couple of questions for you. What was, and I know that I asked the others about how did you feel when I contacted you about being a winner, but yours a little bit more specific is what were you most excited about that you have this opportunity? Like, is there something specific that you were excited about when I notified you?
I was excited for the opportunity to be able to take the test. Like Monica was saying, I really value education. I actually have a master's degree already, and I'm currently paying out of pocket for paramedic school. And so like this was not in my monthly budget at all. And I had talked to Brody about last year about, he showed me some of the study stuff that he had already gotten from the study group he was in. And we were talking about taking the test. And there was just no way with the amount of money that I'm paying out right now for school that I'd be able to take the test. So it provides the opportunity for me to not only with the study group to be able to learn the extra material that I need to know in order to do it, but then on top of that, to be able to have the opportunity to take the test.
That's awesome. Karen, do you have anything to add there?
It is absolutely amazing how many people are funding their own educational opportunities. And it's really humbling when we hear what you're doing to, grow yourself and that we have an opportunity to support you in that growth. Super, super humbling, Lauren. Thank you.
Yep. Awesome. Jeremy?
I was just going to say, kudos, Lauren, being clearly a lifelong learner. I mean, you've got a graduate degree already. You're going through paramedic school. Then you decided that wasn't enough, and you decided to jump into one of the most difficult industry exams out there. Wow. I mean,
sleep is highly overrated.
Yeah.
Ambition.
No, I'm right there with you. I mean, I love it. If I'm not in school for something, I'm reading trade magazines or white papers or something. I'm just trying to get that stuff in. But no, I think it's great, especially anytime somebody from the industry has the opportunity to do something to improve themselves or better themselves, and ultimately, hopefully, contribute back into the 911 profession. It's a win-win. So I'm going to echo what Karen said. I mean, stories like yours and what the other folks said today are really what drives us as organizations to really make these things available. We'd love to do it for hundreds of people and give them out there, but obviously we know there's limitations. But all of your stories today were so compelling. We're so glad that we were able to do this for you, and we're thrilled that you're doing this and having such a great time. And you've made the decision to take the plunge, so to speak. So congratulations.
Yeah,
definitely.
And hopefully I can pass the knowledge on to, like everybody else, we're having retention staffing problems, and we have a super, super young new people starting, and not only experience wise, but age wise as well. So this gives them, hopefully with me getting, if I pass the test,
when
You will.
but to be able to show to them what this is. This isn't just a stepping stone for something else. Like 911 is a career. It's not just, hey, I want to just be a dispatcher for a couple years and then become a trooper or become a game warden or whatever they want to do. Like it's something that, there's advancement within it. You're not just taking the same training classes over and over again.
Right.
I love what you just said there too about 911 is a career. For so many years, people didn't view it that way. And you are seeing 3 career 911 professionals. And I love that you want to extend that as well to the folks that you're working with and your newer generations.
Yep, absolutely. And so you kind of answered. So the other question I had for you is, what do you hope that this designation does for you? Is there anything that you wanted to add to that specifically? But what it sounds like to me is that you want to be able to pass on that legacy, right? I mean, is there anything
just to
else
show
that you
people? So the state of Maine has very few communication centers, very vast populations spread out everywhere, and so it kind of shows not only to my center but to other centers and anybody else that I come in contact with that this is not just, you're not just a dispatcher. Like, what you're talking about. When somebody calls 911, it's somebody that's dedicated, that this is what they do. And so we want to get help out there to them to know exactly what the problem is. And by knowing all the various facets of what ENP entails, it can then show that we know what we're talking about. We're not just picking up a phone.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And Karen was right. Like, I did not know that I wanted to be in 911 when I was growing up. I wanted to be a nurse, and then I wanted to be a police officer. And then I realized that, being a police officer was not where I wanted to be. And anybody that wanted to pay me to talk for a living was probably where I was supposed to be for a while. So
I mean, my bachelor's degree is in natural resources, not anywhere near 911.
Right.
So it's, it just shows, this is what, it doesn't matter what background you come from. If this is what you're dedicated to, this is what you can do.
Yeah. So, well, thank you so much, Lauren, for joining us. I appreciate you
so
and all the
much.
work that you do. I cannot wait to see everybody's results. So I will go ahead and send you on back to the green room, and I'm going to chit chat with my friends Karen and Jeremy here for a few minutes. But thank you for joining us.
Thank you again so much.
Bye, Lauren.
STU.
Bye.
All right. Hey, friends.
Hey.
That was really cool.
Yeah, like I had goosies on my
Yeah.
arms while they were talking and sharing their stories, just hearing it and then supporting, what we read from them. I'm so excited that these are the folks that are going to be taking this test and, moving ENPs forward and bringing in the next generation.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I wanted to get that I forgot, and I don't know if any of you know it, but I heard it somewhere recently that there's only like 3,500 ENPs or something like that. It's like,
yeah, I don't know what the exact number is.
Yeah.
So
I do know though that the wall that you're referencing at the National NINA conference, the font on the names is definitely getting smaller. So there's definitely more and more ENPs getting added to that list.
I'm so glad it's not that my eyes are getting worse every year with age.
I think they're adding more names. They're adding more names.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're going to add on like sections or whatever. So I can't wait for these folks to be able to find their way. And thanks, Karen, for bringing Michael on. That was that was priceless. I wasn't expecting that, but no, that was really cool. And I know that everybody, with the both of you that are on here, I couldn't have asked for better people to be a part of this process with, because I know your passion, I know your dedication, I know what you give back to this industry. And both of you are very much give, and very rarely take. But I do know that while we may not take a lot from the industry, we sure do get a lot, right?
So much. Yes. 100%.
Yep. Awesome. So Karen, one of the things that I wanted to point out, you just posted the other day, it has been 10 years since you've been in ENP. Is that correct?
Yes, just had my 10-year anniversary, and it came across my Facebook feed, and it was like that moment of reflection, like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize it's been 10 years.
Right.
And what those 3 letters have done for my career, I can't even express. And maybe that's where I get a little emotional because, I was a dispatcher, I didn't go to college.
Yep.
And I didn't have that opportunity. I worked in 911 and I was raised in 911 and I became a young supervisor. And I was exposed to all of the technology and industry partners who fed into me. And then when I got my certification with support of all of the industry partners as well, who led me along the way, who taught me, who supported the study groups to educate us on NG 911, to see where I have come with that designation and that certification drives me further to give back and inspire other people to do the same, because it has done so much for me. I know how much it can do for you and others.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jeremy, how long have you had yours?
Well, I mentioned earlier 2012, and I just did the math. 10 years.
10 years.
10 years.
Maybe we were studying at the same time. It was funny because I mentioned we didn't have the luxury of these study groups, but one of the examples I always like to talk about is I remember now I know for a fact it was 2012 because the family and I were down in Disney, and I remember they were all in the swimming pool at the Port Orleans Riverside. I won't even forget. And I was on the side of the pool in one of those chaise lounges with my tablet studying for the ENP exam. And it's, but it was just, yeah, when you think about how far you come, I mean, I did it for a lot of the same reasons that the folks that we talked to today were doing, wanting to move up. At the time, I think I was a supervisor at the time, and I was like, I know that if I want to move to the next level, maybe I could do it with my great looks and my personality, right? Nope. I'm gonna need something else to try to close the deal. So that's when I went out and I started looking at all these different things, and ENP was just a logical next step. And I remember how excited I was when you get that preliminary, you passed, but you can't call yourself an ENP yet. And then when you finally get that in the mail, and then of course when you get the certificate, wow. And I've recertified, I guess it would be once, right? One recertification, and then
the next one's coming up here soon.
Yeah, so I didn't want to. So if our other folks are still in the green room waiting, or for those of you that are out there, it's awesome to get the certification, but the fact that you need to go through and recertify, I kind of like it because it really puts you in a place where you can say, well, you can go out and take the whole test again, or you can, through industry involvement and other things that you're doing, you can recertify that way. So there's two ways to do that once you're certified, but please stay involved and just get out there and educate yourself and really take advantage of these programs that are out there. And I don't care what they are. If it's doing something that's going to better what you're doing for your agency, your organization, and ultimately for those around you, it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think definitely this is the reminder for folks that have their EMP to go out and make sure that they're not like overdue or that they need to get back. But I think it is great that they have a recertification, because having that recertification, there's a lot that changes, right?
Yep.
And that just goes to show that those that are doing it and they recertify, they're keeping with their commitment to the 911 profession. I just want to put this up there. This is for anybody that's watching. This is the email. This is the website that you can go to register for the current study group. The current study group information is going to go away in the next maybe 3 or 4 weeks. And the next study group registrations are going to go up there. So if you want to be a part of this one that's going on right now for the spring or the summer test and get a copy of all the recorded stuff, just go there. You can register. And then it'll switch over to the fall. You have to re-register if you want to be on that one as well. But I know that there are some folks that may not make the cutoff. It's this Saturday for the spring test, so they need to register for that. But I think the other thing too is really being able to celebrate the folks that pass. And speaking of celebration, I just want to bring. So we might lose Karen because her battery's about to die. But she might have froze, but I want to.
That's a good final free shot for Karen if that's what we get.
It is. She just looks flawless as she normally does. So, but yeah, so we'll pop that down, and ironically, look, here we are, my friend.
There we are.
So as we wrap up, I just want to first say thank you to everybody who's joined the study group, everybody that supports everything that I do, and many of you know that my My veins bleed gold. There's no mistaking that 911 is super important to me. And so Jeremy and I have decided that we are going to do some really cool stuff during National Telecommunicator Week. And Karen's back. Let's
Karen's
see.
back.
There she is.
New battery.
Oh, there she
lost
goes.
her. There she goes.
So we are going to be doing some fun things during Telecommunicator Week. So you guys that are watching this or seeing this, we haven't even launched this website yet publicly. It'll be going out later today, early tomorrow, probably today, because that's how we go. But jump onto my website, go to the NPSTW part of the website, register there, because Jeremy and I will be going live. Let's see if she's
Try it
back.
again.
So Jeremy and I were just talking about, I was talking and Jeremy's going to add in a second, is that during National Telecommunicator Week, we want to celebrate 911 folks. We want to give away all the things. We want to give away prizes. So we have an event, events. So every night during Telecommunicator Week, Jeremy and I will be going live through our NGA 911 sponsorship to be able to celebrate folks. We're going to have some amazing guest speakers. We already have some really cool folks lined up. We already have some sponsors that are in the works committing. You can find them on the website there, but please jump onto that website and register. All you're doing is registering to win prizes that night. We're going to be spinning a wheel, and if your name is in there and it pops up, we're just going to be giving away prizes every night at 7 p.m. all week. And then the Friday, I will be in Nashville on my 50th birthday, and I'm going to be celebrating you. So we want to make sure that you guys are having a good time.
I thought it was your 25th birthday.
Yeah, I wish. But
Nash Vegas celebration.
Nash Vegas, and it was by accident because I'm actually going to be going and recording some stuff for the Virtual Academy, which I'm really excited about. And it just happened to fall near my 50th birthday. So why not stay and celebrate, right?
Perfect.
That's right.
So Jeremy, do you have anything to add about the event?
No, I was just going to say, maybe we need to have ice cream sandwiches or Nutty Buddies or something as a giveaway. I know ice cream's a big thing. So
yeah, absolutely.
I think when Tracy and I were first talking about this, I mean, for those of you that knew me when I was wearing the director hat on the public side, I mean, I really tried to do the best I could during National Public Safety Telecommunicator Week, and each day we would kind of do something different. We do dinners and all kinds of things. So when Tracy and I started throwing ideas back and forth, I said, you know what, wouldn't it be cool not just to do one event during the week, but let's do something every single day.
Okay.
And kind of celebrate. Yeah. And of course, the minute you give Tracy an idea, the spitballing and the brainstorming starts, and it's crazy. So we've got a lot of really cool stuff in the works. As Tracy mentioned, a lot of really cool speakers. There's going to be folks from the front line that we're talking to, and the heroes behind the headset. I mean, it's just we're really excited to bring it to you. There's just so much that's going to be happening, but we definitely encourage you, go to the website, register, make sure you get in there for the prizes. And there will absolutely be more information coming up in the weeks ahead. And we wanted to get an early start out here so everybody knew about it.
Yep. Awesome. All right. Well, Karen, I'm sorry that we lost you, but I'm glad that you came back. Do you have any final thoughts on, and again, thank you so much to Rapid SOS for being my premier sponsor for the study group. It's one of those things that it's a lot of work, but it is such a rewarding work. And I have met so many amazing people. And now you guys have a handful of new people in your network. But Karen, do you have anything that you want to add?
Yes, and apologies for dropping off. My battery died, but
No worries.
I'm back now. I would just say, congratulations to every single one of the folks that won the scholarship. We absolutely want to encourage other people to take that ENP. It is not overwhelming. Utilize this network of ENP, emergency number professionals. We are here for you, and we want to give back and serve you as well. Those 3 letters are really going to take you far in your career. Ask us how we can help, whether it is mentorship in how you are going to become a director one day, or even if you have challenges in the role that you're in today, reach out to any one of the ENPs. You can even become a mentor on the NINA website as well, or a mentee. So we are all here for you. We're all here to serve the great industry. We wish you the best. Don't question yourself when you take that test. And I remember sitting in there, and we used to have to, color in the little dots. And I know there's some opportunities to do them online now, but coloring those
Oh my
dots, I would
God.
question myself on, oh gosh, did I read this question the right way? And I was spending a lot more time questioning myself than trusting myself. Trust yourself. You know the content, you know the information. Yes, study hard 100%, but just trust what you know and take that test with confidence. And don't go back and change all of your answers.
No,
So
don't.
I
Never.
would
No,
say
no,
that.
no. Always the first answer.
Yep,
Jeremy, do you
trust
have
your
anything
gut.
to wrap up with?
No, I would echo what Karen said. Gut instinct is everything. I too, when I was taking the test, I was looking at it, and you start reading into the questions, and you're like, oh, should I go on to it? Should I come back? Don't read into it. Do your due diligence. Do your studying. Participate in the study groups. Do reach out to your network and ask them. But at the end of the day, gut instinct is everything. You're going to be surprised how many things you can go into this exam, and you're like, oh, I know that. I know that. I know that. There will be things in there that are more difficult. No matter how you study for this exam, there's going to be material on there that you're like, I didn't even read about this. Or it's like, hey, I don't even remember this being in the study thing. So they're not doing it to trick you, but they're trying to keep the information in there fresh and pertinent to what's going on right now. So enjoy the experience. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it much more after I passed, but enjoy this time and do whatever you can do to improve yourself and try to improve the industry. We love having you being a part of it. Congratulations again to all the winners.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We went a little longer than expected, but it's okay. It's fine. I always enjoy my time with you guys. So be safe, everyone. Stay safe, stay strong, stay here. We need you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.